Good afternoon and welcome back here inside of Kinney Natatorium as we get back to water polo action. As we continue things here in the Bucknell Invitational this weekend. Bucknell takes on Air Force in this meeting, with the Bison already taking down the Salem Tigers earlier this morning and picking up a huge win to snap a 3-match losing streak. Jack Ridenauer here with you. Thanks for hanging out with us as we continue our coverage all weekend long of water polo. As the Air Force Falcons taking an early opportunity here to try and get on the board. The strike that's blocked by Dimitru. Jack Richards, one of the top goal scorers for the Falcons, can't get the first goal on the board. Bucknell comes in 2-6 after the win this morning. Air Force comes into this weekend at 11-4, riding a 3-match losing streak into today. Trying to snap that streak and get back into the win column. Here's Jack Murad. And Aaron Pass goes back down for Air Force. Taking a look at the Falcons from a distance, 11-4 overall. They have played quite a bit of matches at home. 11 of the 15 have been in Colorado, 10-1 when playing in their home water. Last year, these two split in the regular season, with Bucknell defeating the Falcons when they were ranked in the top 25. As Air Force jumps ahead, thanks in part to Colin Chase lobbing it through. 1-0 Air Force to start. It's now the 5th straight game that Chase has scored in, stretches his longest streak an extra game. Give him 18 goals on the season. Bucknell took down Salem this morning, like mentioned, 18-15. Chance inside here for Stefanovic into a wrestling match, and he earns the free throw. Sets himself for the corner. The 3-time All-American goes to the point for Murad. Inside for Tuzo, turns, deflected. Air Force stays ahead by 1. Jackson Carter gives off for Jake Dixon. Dixon up top. Surveys, fires wide. It's a good stand defensively for Bucknell. Player we'll mention quite a bit today for Air Force, Tom Leggett, is encroaching upon a tremendous milestone. Came into today 12 goals shy of the new school record. Trying to eclipse it here this afternoon. Inside for Udovicic. And Air Force whistled for reaching over. So free throw for the Bison. Stefanovic through the trees, lobs, and it's Murad that ties it at 1. Jack Murad came into the weekend with 7 goals on an efficient 16 shots. So he evens the score up at 1. Bucknell looking to get a 2nd straight win after defeating Salem earlier today and potentially move to 2-0 to start home pool play. Carter had a season-high 4 goals against Ottawa, Arizona this year. Jack Richards, dangerous goal scorer, in search of Tom Leggett. Can't find him. Inside, Tuzo tries to wall up for Bucknell, and it doesn't work. So sets up a free shot here for Air Force. Try and push the lead back to 1. It's Tom Leggett, All-American last year, the 2-time All-WCC pick. Puts it top shelf. Makes this a 2-1 lead for Air Force early. Back and forth in this early affair. The first meeting last year between these two, Bucknell prevailed and took down then number 20 ranked Air Force 13-8. That's the last win that Bucknell has had against the Falcons. Tyler Hedblad came into today tied with Stefanovic for the team leading goals. Ori Roz. Inside, a swarm, and Air Force forces a turnover with Jack Delane blanketed heavily. Jack Richards. The season high 5 goals recently against Concordia. Penetrates, fakes, and scores. 3-1 Air Force. Richards with his 35th goal of the season. Second place behind Tom Leggett, who has 60 now, 6 goals on the season. Truly a tremendous drop-off from first to second place for the Falcons. Here comes Kai Johnson, one of the newest emergences in the lineup for Bucknell. In search of Stefanovic, and Stefanovic draws an exclusion. Reason why he's been an All-American multiple times in his career. Hedblad. Johnson bobbles. Johnson skims off the top. Air Force again with another stand defensively, and Lucas Smith in goal. Last year, top 10 in the country in saves. So he will definitely be a challenge for Bucknell to get through. Owen Imasaki. Big time denial. David Dimitru showing off that all-conference goalkeeping. Springs a break. Delan, 1v1 with Smith. And he wins it. Bucknell back within 1. Jack Delan hovers around. Came into the weekend with 6 goals on the year. But he's made his hay in ejections drawn. 8 of them first on the team in the category. For you at home wondering what ejections drawn are, essentially just ejections or a foul that you're able to draw against the defense to set up a potential player-up opportunity. Air Force trying to keep itself in front here with Bucknell on the heels of the Falcons. Tick more than 3 minutes until the second quarter. Leggett in trouble. It comes up empty. You can tell Bucknell is really targeting Tom Leggett, and for good reason. Hedblad threads Stefanovic, searching for a tie, and he converts. Knotted up at 3. Back-to-back goals for the home team, trying to stay perfect to start home play. Not to mention, Bucknell could really take advantage of right now a struggling Air Force team and came into the weekend on a season-long 3-match losing streak. Prior to that, Skid had gone 11-1 through the first 12 matches. Richards. Leggett, blitzed by Roz. 5 to shoot for the Falcons. Turning strike, and it's denied. Dimitru keeps the ball game tied. Gavin Honkin thought he could get it past Dimitru, and now Bucknell with a chance to take a lead. Roz, dangerous feed, and it's stolen. Richards with great hands. And now it's Air Force trying to recapture its once lead. Out of the reach of an intended target of Honkin. And a 2-meter violation. So a new wrinkle in water polo that was implemented last year. And now a miscue for Dimitru. That was, I was mentioning the 2-meter rule that was implemented last year and now in full effect this year. Doesn't allow for an offensive player that doesn't have the ball to be inside of that red line nearest to the goal. Minute 23 to go. Tom Leggett, last year an All-American, skips through, and Dimitru again, walling up well. Dimitru last year, 207 saves, and he keeps this game even at 3. Bison looking for their first winning streak of the season. Richards. Another good denial. This time it's Jack Murad getting in on the mix. Jake Dixon again stonewalled. What an outlet. Hedblad is wrapped up. Richards whistle for the exclusion. Here comes Hedblad. Bucknell can take its first lead. Ross, and again, an unforced error. First it's Ross throwing it away and then unable to receive the pass. 39 seconds to go until the second quarter. Deadlocked at 3. Dixon, he's been denied a few times. Leggett, team leader in goals, quiet to start. But he comes to life there. Air Force back ahead with 24 ticks remaining in the first. Leggett last year led all of Division I NCAA in goals and points. 143 goals and 183 points. Ori Roz throws a stiff arm. Searches for Johnson and finds him. 8 seconds. Shot clock, game clock, aligned perfectly. Air Force with a last-ditch effort to stretch the lead. 5. Copper Road turned away at the buzzer, and Dimitru with another save. Kuenko thought he could get it through, but not the case, and it's a 1-goal difference. We go to the second, 4-3 Air Force, but Bucknell trying to find a comeback and a second straight win. Coming up next on the Bison Sports YouTube channel. Getting set for second quarter action. 4-3, Air Force in front. It's led for the entirety of the opening quarter. However, Bucknell had a chance to take a lead, tied it at 3. Before the Falcons came to life as we get back to action here in the second frame. Jack Ridenauer here with you on the Bucknell YouTube channel. Bison trying to get a second straight win. Be the first winning streak of the young season for the Bison. Mirad. Tuzo, 10 to shoot for the Bison. Mirad. Stefanovic with 4, has to hurry. Fires away, and it's blocked by Smith. Second crack at it. So a good job by Bucknell to earn the possession back. Chance here to tie it back up at 4. Stefanovic has led the Bison in goals for 3 straight years. Mirad tied up, and a hold, and it works. Tuzo at the doorstep, tied at 4. Tuzo cashes in another goal, his 3rd of the season. His brother Adrian was a goalkeeper on Bucknell's team. So Coach John McBride coaching both of the Tuzo brothers. Coach McBride in his 15th season at the helm has, again, guided this Bucknell program to some incredible success in his career. Lob through for Leggett. Trying to get freed up. One of the all-time greats for Air Force. Finds Copperud. One more for Imasaki. But it's pride-free to Zoe, not only offensively, but also defensively. Coming up huge. Hedblad. Tuzo looking for a lead. And a massive call here. A chance for Bucknell to take a lead on a penalty throw. Tuzo sets it up for one of the great goal scorers in Bison history, Stefanovic. For the lead. Off the bar. A brutal break for Bucknell. Inches away from the first lead of the match. Air Force trying to avoid yet again another loss. After winning 11 of the first 12 games, have struggled since. Force feed inside. Imasaki draws contact. Kuenko inside. Whipping shot, and it's denied. Dimitru tells Colin Chase, I don't think so. A tussle for the loose ball. Copperud pries it back. Both teams starting to really dig in defensively. Chase. Crossfeed, Leggett fires, and Dimitru again standing tall. What an outlet. Udovicic for the lead, trying to get it. But Air Force recovers quickly. Stefanovic trying to go for an advantage, and he goes for it. Back of the net, Bucknell with its first lead, 5-4. Bucknell looking for a ginormous win against Air Force, would be the second in the last 3 meetings. This is an all-time head-to-head that goes back to the the late 1970s. First time Bucknell and Air Force played each other, really the first 2 times, were in the NCAA tournaments in 78 and 79. Air Force feeling the first bit of pressure this afternoon in the pool. Leggett bobs and weaves. And just like that, disappears and reappears with a goal. So crafty. Give him now 3 goals. And Leggett already with 2 games played this year of 10 goals. Ironically enough, did it against 2 teams that are here this weekend for the Bucknell Invitational, Mount St. Mary's and Salem. Roz looks to create space. Udovicic, but he's inside the 2-meter line. Again, that's the new wrinkle. Started last year and in full effect this year. Copperrood gives it up. Off for Amasaki. Fakes. Forces the feed inside, and again, a nice job defensively by Bucknell. Dimitru launches. Udovicic. Crowbars it back. Stefanovic. A chance to regain the lead. Blocked. Smith comes up with a huge stop. But the Falcons not out of the woods yet. And Stefanovic needs to bring it a little bit further for the corner throw. An ejection. So an opportunity in the player up here for Bucknell. Drawn ejection for Stefanovic. Bucknell trying to convert in the player up. Udovicic. Roz. Stefanovic, and it's stuffed. Lucas Smith. Him and Dimitri putting on some goalkeeping clinics here at Kinney Natatorium. Colin Chase. Check that, Jackson Carter with it. Over Dimitru, it's Copperrood. And Air Force jumps back ahead by 1. Copperrood with his first goal of the afternoon. This Air Force team coming into the weekend, 2 of the last 3 losses by 1 goal. Fell to Concordia and Irvine by 1. A match where Air Force trailed by 2 with less than 2 minutes to play. Pulled within 1 but couldn't tie. And then right before arriving here in Lewisburg, lost to Navy in a 1-goal defeat. So Air Force trying to get a big win here against Bucknell. And another ejection. Bucknell collecting the player-up advantages. Roz looks for daylight. Johnson. Tunnicliffe. Johnson. Roz. 10 to shoot. Johnson bounces, no. A race. And again, it's Lucas Smith, one of the best keepers in the entire country, coming up big to keep Air Force ahead. Less than 3 to play until half. Now it's Bucknell that is in a major need for a stop. Dixon. Copperrood. And Roz. Whistle for getting too handsy. And a timeout taken with 2:38 to go. 6-5, Air Force in front, clinging to this advantage, but tip your cap to Bucknell. It's done a marvelous job trading blows, going toe-to-toe. And like mentioned, this Bison team came into the weekend struggling some. Had been on the road for a good bit of the first 7 matches. But a nice welcome home here this weekend with defeating Salem 18-15. That was also a fairly nip-and-tuck battle with Bucknell leading 10-9. Matter of fact, Salem at times held a first quarter, even second quarter lead could not hold on to it. The deficit exploded into the second half for Bucknell to a 4-goal advantage. Salem able to close the gap within 2 a couple times, but just could not get over that gap. And so for Air Force, a team that also in a couple close ones, both well acquainted with those down-to-the-wire finishes. Thanks for joining us this afternoon here on the Bison YouTube channel. 2:38 to go until half. Air Force possession, trying to push this lead a little bit further. Team that came into today playing 11 of 15 matches this year at home. Now having to get comfortable in an unfamiliar environment. Back to action. Copperud working around for Richards. Richards again, and he forces it through Dimitru. Dimitru got a piece of it, but not enough. And it's the widest advantage either team has had in this first half. Again, though, Bucknell trailed in the first half this morning against Salem. Showed no signs of crumbling. Bison have been in some other tough battles, even going back to the beginning of the season, dropping a 3-goal heartbreaker to nationally ranked Harvard. Udovicic draws contact. Inside, Delan, and he loses it. Dixon pinches it back from him. Inside of 2 minutes till the half. Shane Borunda. Copperud. Carter. Chaos in front of the cage. And a swarm of Bison pry it free. Gavin Honkin comes up empty. 90 seconds remain until the break. Bucknell trying to close the gap. Delan, and he's crunched. Borunda comes in with his goalkeeper, Lucas Smith. Both teams really dialing up the defense in the waning moments of this first half. Borunda inside. And another great job by Sean Tunnicliffe to come over on the help defense. Ross, he's got Udovicic with him. 1-on-2, Udovicic trying to get free. Whistle favors Bucknell off the foul. 8 on the shot clock. Bucknell's got to hurry. Johnson with 5. Murad with 2. Lobs and nearly sneaks through, but Smith got a piece of it. Albeit Murad might not go down to the stat sheet, but the credit goes to him, and he awards himself. He says, why don't I miss, to then make the second shot, and Bucknell pulls back within 1. And no matter if that was accidental or not, Murad just giving such a challenging shot that Smith, hand forced, had to get a piece of it, kept the possession in a debilitating shot clock situation. And ultimately, Murad cashes in with 27 seconds remaining. Bucknell trying to get a winning streak going here today. Would be the first of the season can take down Air Force after beating Salem. Lob for Leggett, off the crossbar. Fantastic job by Bucknell, and Coach John McBride is ushering his group to hustle down. Dimitru fires. And there should be some time that will be added back. Should be about 2 seconds. And they say, you know what, we'll just call it there. We'll go to half, 1 goal difference, 7-6, Air Force clinging to this advantage and trying to avoid suffering yet again another loss. Bison trying to go for a second straight win, coming up next in the third quarter here inside of Kinney Natatorium. Getting set for third quarter action here inside of Kinney Natatorium. Jack Ridenauer here with you, a 7-6 lead for Air Force. As the Falcons trying to escape out of this one with a win and avoid what could be a 5th overall loss after starting the year 11-1. Well, for Bucknell, trying to inch closer and closer to level 500 play. Not to mention, could go for its first winning streak of the young season at 2 in a row. Back and forth in the first half. Bucknell had a very slim lead, but then a quick 2-0 response by Air Force. But the Falcons back ahead, and that's where we sit in this one. There'll be more more water polo later today and also into tomorrow. Water polo actually will be beginning at, I believe, 9 a.m. tomorrow. I believe Bucknell and the Fordham Rams will get things off and running tomorrow. And there seems to be some sort of delay. I believe it's a matter of the shot clock. So, might have lost battery or connection. Looks like somebody is going to sort it out. Yep, there we go. We're going to just switch out the shot clocks. An easy fix. Gotta love a nice, easy fix. Alrighty. Good to go. Just making sure that the new one is configured. Either way, Bucknell has done a great job limiting Air Force's top goal scorer in Tom Leggett. 3 goals in this one. But they have been challenging, to say the least, for him to even get freed up for one. Third quarter sprint 1 for Bucknell. A nice job by Stefanovic to win it. Bison trying to tie it up here on this opening possession. Come up with a big second straight win. Thread through to Zoe. He's got daylight, and he draws contact. Another great job by Tuzo to set up a penalty throw, the second time he's done that today. First it was Stefanovic to take the shot, and now it's Tyler Hedblad, one of the top scorers for Bucknell. Trying to even it at 7. Does just that. Balanced out at 7 here with 7:38 to go in the third. Tyler Hedblad coming into today, tied for first in the team lead with goals with Stefanovic at 18. Not to mention, total of 37 shots fired. A push that goes against Air Force. So, first a good offensive possession, and then a whistle that favors Bucknell. And in a matter of seconds, the Bison can reclaim the lead. Comes Ori Roz, but he loses it. And an exclusion drawn, against Bucknell. That's on Tuzo. So a man-up opportunity here for the Falcons. Leggett is in a lot of trouble. Up top and through. Easy for Colin Chase to bury. And Air Force back ahead. Stefanovic, he's been awfully quiet in this one after a very strong performance this morning against Salem. Hedblad creates space, and Smith erases another shot. Bucknell keeps the possession, though. Last time when these two faced off, Bucknell fell 16-12. However, the last time Bucknell defeated Air Force, the Falcons were ranked in the top 20. Swarm of Falcons surround DeLand. Now the Falcons trying to trigger a little break. Carter. Dixon. Inside for Chase. Can't find it. And Chase whistled for pushing the Bison underwater. So again, Air Force committing some costly unforced errors. Ross fakes. Hedblad drives. Fires. And again, Smith again with another huge denial. Bison are doing a great job keeping the possession after the shot that's missed. DeLand blanketed. Back out for Stefanovic. Roz. And Roz whistled for bringing the ball too low in the water. Air Force trying to extend this lead a little bit. Biggest lead has been 2. Dixon. It's been scoreless in 2 straight coming into today. So the penalty again goes against Air Force. Looked like another 2-meter violation on the Falcons. Here comes Hedblad with a burst of speed. Finds Stefanovic, fakes inside, and DeLand buries, tied at 8. So DeLand goes and finds another score. 4:48 to go. This Air Force team have been in a very tough couple of matches. Coming into the weekend, 2 straight 1-goal losses. Right now in jeopardy of suffering what could be a 4th consecutive loss. Leggett, team leader in goals. He has been rendered silent thus far. And Roz getting too handsy. Good denial by Dumitru. Max Ellis thought he fooled Dumitru, but the all-conference keeper showing off why he's been one of the best to do it in the MAWPC. Dumitru a year ago, 207 saves. Stefanovic. DeLand wrestles for positioning. And an exclusion. It comes against Air Force. So the Bison in the man up, coming out of the timeout. Bucknell calls it, tied at 8, 4:04 to go in the 3rd quarter. Bucknell looking for the first winning streak of the season and trying to get through Air Force. Coming up next right here inside of Kinney Natatorium. Back to action out of the timeout. Halfway gone in the third quarter. Bison trying to go back ahead in this seesawing affair. Hedblad. Bison back on top. Hedblad has led the team in goals numerous times this year. Did it twice against Harvard, once against Brown, and once against Princeton. Had a tremendous freshman season with 47 goals. And he puts his Bison back ahead as they look for a second straight win. Leggett. Surrounded. You can tell that Bucknell really targeting Leggett and limiting his touches. Richards. Blocked. Dimitri with a huge stop. Does stay with Air Force. Leggett resets. Set the single season record for Air Force in goals and points last year. Copperud. He's been a dangerous goal scorer this season as well. Imasaki shoves it ahead, and an airmail by Gavin Honkin. And Honkin has been really good recently. 4 goals over the last 3 games played. He's had a couple at the doorstep that he's been unable to get through. Not to mention Bucknell escapes still ahead. Roz. No goal. So the whistle goes against Bucknell as Roz thought he had put that one through, but not the case. Air Force surges ahead. 2.5 to go until the 4th. Time is running out. And an exclusion against Bucknell. That goes on Stefanovic. And a timeout taken by Air Force. We'll do the same. Come back, man-up opportunity for Air Force, trying to tie it up with 2.5 to go in the third quarter.
Let's go, Bison!
2:31 to go in the third. Bucknell clinging to this 1-goal advantage. Trying to go for win number 2 in a row, but number 3 overall. Jack Ridenauer here with you on a glorious Saturday in Lewisburg. Lewisburg, the place to be this weekend with Parents Weekend, all the sports going on. Football tonight to wrap things up. We've got water polo all weekend long. The lob inside and it works. Imasaki sticks it, tied back up at 10. Imasaki has now scored in 5 straight games, 7 goals in that span. He was a junior Olympic All-American honorable mention in high school. And he helps his Falcons balance the playing field once again. Bucknell trying to avoid a second straight loss at the hands of the Falcons. Stefanovic, 3-time All-American. Ryblad with the fake. Tunnicliffe sandwiched. Great defense by Leggett to get a hand on it. Keeps this ball game even at 9 with less than 2 to go. Should be a fun fourth quarter coming up. Carter looks for Imasaki. Blocked by Dimitru. Colin Chase with another strike. Copperwood resets. He was one of the top freshmen last year on the team. Leggett. Carter. Richards, and again, David Dimitru putting up an impenetrable wall at the moment. Making sure this game is still well within reach for his Bison. Winding down the final 60 seconds in the third. Tunnicliffe, he's got daylight. Charges, fires, and blocked. Smith stands tall. And again, it's turning into a goal-keeping affair between these two. Leggett, the All-American. Fires! It's David Dimitru again. Building a Bucknell brick wall here inside of Kinney Natatorium. 26 seconds until the fourth. Bucknell looking for a lead before the final 8 minutes. Roz. Empty. Murad thought he had the lead right back. 13 seconds to go. The last second surge for Air Force to grab a lead. Fed ahead, Leggett with 3. 1. Lobs! And it goes. One of the great goal scorers in Air Force history puts it on full display, and at the buzzer puts in a goal to give Air Force a lead and bring the momentum back to the Falcons as we go to the fourth. Bucknell trying to avoid catastrophe and collapse. We've got 8 more minutes coming up here inside of Kinney Natatorium. Three quarters down, we go to the fourth. Bucknell looking for a second consecutive win and to stay perfect at home. Down by 1 after Tom Leggett for Air Force, arguably the greatest goal scorer for the Falcons in history, comes up with a massive strike right at the buzzer. 0.2 seconds to play. And again, Bucknell had a chance to also grab a lead, but was unable to do so. And now we to get set for this final 8 minutes of battle. Bucknell trying to go to 3-6 heading into tomorrow, while for Air Force trying to reach back into how it played in the first 12 games, winning 11. Since then, have gone 0-4. And a big sprint comes here for both teams. And again, it's Stefanovic. Twirls away with it. And a big start for the Bison. There's Jack Murad. Back for Stefanovic. Came into the year with 235 goals. Murad coming off a career-high season last year. Gives it back to Stefanovic. 4-3 on the shot clock. Lobbed inside, and Udovicic whistled for a push. So it's back down for the Falcons. Looking to go for win number 12. Over for Carter. Fading away. Stuffed by Dumitru. Dumitru airs it out. Udovicic. What a throw. But it's secured by Leggett as he absorbs it back. Now it turns into a game of long toss. Copperud. Carter. And it just stays out. Copperud. A millimeter miss. Stefanovic leaks out. He earns a whistle. Keeps the possession for Bucknell. As both teams really stretching the length of the pool. Murad. One of the top goal scorers for Bucknell this year. Roz. Trying to barge ahead. 3 on the shot clock. Has to fire, and he does! Tied at 10. You want to talk about a prayer. Ori Ross just threw it as the shot clock expires, and it finds the back of the net. And I'm sure for Lucas Smith, 9 times out of 10, he saves that. But Ori Roz sneaks it past him that one time. Bucknell trying to amplify the recent struggles for Air Force. Hand them another loss. This game has been back and forth, as it looks like Udovicic is coming out for Bucknell. And Jack Richards out for Air Force. So now the two at level playing field. So the 5-on-5 now. So Udovicic comes out along with Jack Richards. And those are two key players for both teams that have to come out. And based on both their reactions, they could be out for quite some time. Either way, right now, just a 20-second ejection, or exclusion, excuse me. But again, both going to the bench, have other subs in ready for them. And right now, the officiating crew communicating with one another, I believe, about the exact penalty. But a lengthy stop here really gives both teams a chance to try and reorganize, catch the breath. Bucknell with 2 timeouts remaining, Air Force with just 1. Back to action, leveled at 10, 6 minutes to go. Over everyone's head but Dimitru. Slaps it back, Jake Dixon again, denied. Dimitru with another wonderful outlet. Stefanovic, he loses track of it. Couldn't locate. And Air Force comes away unscathed. The Bison continue to buckle down defensively, but now it's a matter of generating an opportunity offensively. And Tussaud comes out on the exclusion. Things going bad to worse for the Bison. Leggett, Carter, tons of real estate. Off the bar, Chase, another crossbar shot. Third chance for Air Force, but Imasaki can't fully find it and swallowed by Dimitru. Absolute chaos at the cage. But no score, deadlocked at 10. Stefanovic. Stefanovic and Leggett both guarding each other. Battle of All-Americans. Dangerous feed for DeLand, and it doesn't work. 4:40 to go. Stagnant offensively here in the fourth for both teams. Bucknell trying to give Air Force their 5th loss this season. Copperwood. Another dangerous feed for Chase. Both teams really trying to force the issue inside. Trying to potentially set up a penalty throw, but at this point, it's not working. And a timeout taken. For the moment, that is the case. Timeout, Bucknell, deadlocked at 10, halfway gone in the fourth. Bison looking for the first winning streak for them this season. Coming up next right here on the Bison YouTube channel.
Let's go Bucknell!
4:07 to go in this one. Tied at 10. Coming out of the Bison timeout, both teams with 1 timeout remaining. Currently, though, Air Force with an exclusion at the moment. So a penalty up here for Bucknell, trying to capitalize and go back ahead. Pick up a 2nd straight win. Roz. Tunnicliffe. Hedblad. Roz, and it's denied, but shoved through by DeLand. Right place, right time. Jack DeLand, last year 9 goals, came into the weekend with 6. And he puts Bucknell back ahead by a goal in this down-to-the-wire finish here inside of Kinney Natatorium. Imasaki. Copperwood finding an angle and chase. Chase near the 2-meter line. 5 on the shot clock for Air Force. Leggett, desperation mode. Quickly swarmed, and Tunnicliffe causes the takeaway. What a stand by the Bison to stay ahead by 1. This Bison team playing in its first home matches this season, trying to give this crowd something to erupt for. Roz, DeLand, he wants more. And it sets up a penalty throw here for Bucknell, and the Bison absolutely love it. A chance for Bucknell to take a 2-goal lead. Be the biggest lead of the day for Bucknell. It's Hedblad. Money! Two-goal advantage for the home team. And now less than 3 minutes away from staying perfect inside of Kinney Natatorium this year. Both teams holding on to this wild finish. Here comes Imasaki. Copperrood. Leggett, he has been awfully quiet here in this fourth quarter. Imasaki. And a 2-meter violation. Gavin Honkin, who has been, again, just having a tough time near that 2-meter line today, whether it's missed shots, blocked shots, and now whistled for being inside of it. Stefanovic creeps. He's got his fellow All-American counterpart on him in Leggett. What a fun matchup between those two. Mirad. Stefanovic continues to just draw contact. 4 on the shot clock. DeLand at the doorstep. Hustles, can't get there. 2 minutes to go. Air Force in jeopardy of suffering a 4th straight loss. Imasaki trying to get his team closer. Dimitru. An exclusion against Bucknell. So a tough break for the Bison, having to buckle down in this player down penalty. Leggett. Carter. Imasaki. Carter fakes, and it goes off the bar again. Bison fans, you can breathe a sigh of relief. Water just unkind to the Falcons. Here come the Bison, a minute and change away from their first winning streak of the season. 6 on the shot clock. DeLand at the doorstep, and it's another opportunity for the Bison. So a timeout by Bucknell. And we'll take one as well. 2-goal lead for the Bison, 64 seconds away from a 2nd straight win right here inside of Kinney Natatorium. Minute and 4 seconds remain. Bucknell with a 2-goal lead. Out of timeouts, 1 for Air Force. But the Falcons with an exclusion. And in the penalty box is Jackson Carter. So a player-up chance here for the Bison. And really, if Bucknell can score here, not necessarily out of reach are the Falcons, but it makes that comeback mountain ever so tougher to climb. Demetriou just eating some time here. Waiting for the approval of Coach John McBride. He gets it. Hedblad with 5. Blitzed. Lobs. Roz at the buzzer. Wide. And 34 seconds to go, but eats up a ton of time. Falcons have to hustle. Here's Carter out of the penalty box. And a timeout taken by Air Force. And we'll keep it right here, as Air Force now out of timeouts itself. Again, these two, the history between them go back to the late 70s. Met up in the NCAA tournaments in the late 70s, and last year met up twice, split in the regular season. So Bucknell trying to get even here this year, at least maybe go ahead in that short series. 25 seconds remain with a 2-goal lead for Bucknell. Coach John McBride has this Bison team exactly where he wants them. In front with a little cushion as well. And for Air Force, again, a team that ran through the first 12 games, winning 11, have staggered through the last few, dropping 3 in a row, and could very well go to 4 in a row. Still time left, but again, if you are Air Force, you have to play this nearly perfect. You pretty much have to get a goal quickly, and then when play resumes, send an all-out attack against whoever has the ball for Bucknell. And Air Force using every last second of this timeout. Here we go. 25.6 seconds to go. About a 4-second difference between game and shot clock. Bison creeping closer to the first winning streak of the season. Leggett trying to create space, and Demetriou again comes up massively with another goal. So, Demetriou standing tall. And Bucknell, again, with 13 seconds to play, up by 2, trying to just drain this clock out. Stefanovic. 8 seconds. Final 4 seconds. Stefanovic drains out this clock, at least trying to. And he does just that. A nail-biting finish here in Kinney Natatorium, and Bucknell escapes with a 12-10 victory over Air Force for the first winning streak of the season for the Bison, as they move to now 3-6 on the young year and 2-0 here at home, while for Air Force now at 11-5 overall and suffer the first road loss of the season. Want to give a big shout out to everybody here to make this broadcast possible. Once again, a final 12-10. Bucknell takes down Air Force. As always, it's never a goodbye, just a see you later. Right here and only inside of Kinney Natatorium and on the Bison Athletic YouTube channel.